Should you draft George Pickens in fantasy football this year? Well, let's talk about it. George Pickens is the start of this tier of wide receivers that I feel like are all the same guy, but just in different fonts. This tier includes guys like Jameson Williams, Chris Olave, Jalen Waddle, and they're all guys who are either wide receiver ones with big red flags or wide receiver twos trying to make a name for themselves. In Pickens' case, he's currently going as the wide receiver 28 and the 70th overall player after finishing as the wide receiver 39 last season. Pickens had an eventful offseason as he went from the Pittsburgh Steelers to now being a Dallas Cowboy. Now, this is both a plus and a minus for Pickens. On the plus side, he gets Dak, who is by far the best quarterback he's ever played with. But on the downside, he's now not the number one target like he was in Pittsburgh. He's now behind CeeDee Lamb, one of the most elite wide receivers in the league. And now, CeeDee Lamb is a slot guy, and Pickens has historically been put him out wide guy. So it's not like there's role overlap or anything really. But Pickens is still playing second fiddle now in this offense, which is going to both hurt and help his production because you're hoping to see, a little bit better quarterback play, but he's not going to be getting all these targets. So how do you see George Pickens then? The way I see George Pickens is he's probably still going to be a little fluky. He's probably still going to be the guy who he puts up, he ends the season averaging about, hopefully 15 points per game. But the way he gets there is probably going to be a lot of 21 week, 15 the next week, then 10, then 11, then 8, then, maybe another spike week of 20. And that's all going to average out into about 15 But hopefully we are going to see a little bit of a jump from Pickens with this new offense to where he's being more consistent. He's not, consistently averaging 12 points per game like he has historically in his career. For the past 2 years, he's averaged 12 points per game, and that's put him about 35th in points per game across the league. And you're hoping that, with the addition of Dak, even though CD's around, he's going to be a little more consistently averaging closer to, 15, which would make him a pretty good wide receiver too, or maybe an elite flex play. And where he's going as the 70th overall player, that'd be very good for where you're drafting him at. But hopefully you're just getting a little more consistency out of Pickens. He's probably still going to be fluky. You're probably still going to have boom bust weeks, but hopefully we're kind of narrowing the outcomes to where he's a more reliable starting asset in your lineup. And one thing that's important to mention is, and I haven't mentioned this yet in the video, it's a contract year for Pickens. And contract years, sometimes they mean something, sometimes they don't. It really depends. But Pickens himself has come out and said that he's really, running into this year with the expectation that he's going to perform so he can get a fat contract next year. He's on a 1-year deal with Dallas as with the end of his Pittsburgh contract, so he wants to fight for a new contract. And I think that could potentially, if he's motivated, push him over the top since he has had some behavioral issues, to say the least, historically. I'm going to give him a C+, not a guy I'm targeting, but a guy I am a little interested in.